Oh, let's see. It says you are now live, and that's always a comfort. And anyway, it's Friday. Things are crazy. I've got my little telephone here, okay, and I'm keeping it on because the garage is going to, or the Volkswagen specialty shop, the mechanics have held my car captive for 2 days.
And they're saying prayers, trying to figure out how to fix it.
Yes, and they're going to give me a call, and I will take that call, even if it's.
And I'm here so I can talk instead of
And
him.
Constance,
No, not really.
she has plenty to say. Anyway, we're doing something I've never done before, and probably won't do again. But we're going to discuss. We're going to actually read, or Constance is going to
Oh, you were going to say.
read through Liber Trigrammaton. Now it's a Class A.
And we are calling this Liber Trigrammaton Unchained.
Yes, today is Trigrammaton Unchained. And I haven't done it on my morning show until now because it's been kind of difficult. It's a combination of graphics and well,
We'll start.
actually, the synopsis of what it is included in Constance's copy there of the Holy Books, and I think
will
we
read
want to.
that.
Yeah, I think. Why don't you do that? I
I'm
hope
sure-
you can hear her.
Okay. I hope you can hear me too. There's a word called DZYAN. First, I'm going to explain what some of the words are in the synopsis. DZYAN, which is a book that stanzas of Dzan that Blavatsky channeled and claimed it was Tibetan, and Crowley says it was so awesome that she was obviously an 8 equals 3. Is that correct?
That's correct. He was
Okay.
so blown away by
So
it.
he's going to mention that a couple times in here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Tao, which is just the way things are, and the Yin, which is the female, and the Yang, which is male. Other than that, I'll just start.
Okay.
Liber 27, my birthday. Oh,
Twen-
never mind. A Liber Trigrammaton, being a book of trigrams of the mutations of the Tao with the Yin and the Yang. An account of the cosmic process, corresponding to the stanzas of Dzan in another system. Vel Trigrammaton. It describes the course of creation under the figure of the interplay of 3 principles. The book corresponding to the stanzas of Dzan. The full knowledge of the interpretation of this book is concealed from all. The practicus must nevertheless acquire a copy, thoroughly acquaint himself with the contents, and commit them to memory. 27. The number of permutations of 3 things taken 3 at a time, and of course the cube of 3.
Now that's known as base 3. Okay.
Like Mama, Papa, and John Paul.
That's
I'm sorry. Oh,
that's right. But base 3 numerically is 0, 1, 2. So it'd be like the Tao, the Yin, the Yang, and the Yin. So I've got graphics for us, and as Constance reads, I'm going to try to entertain you with the images that these comments are talking about.
No, I'm going to say that you could read this and think that not figure out how they are connected, but because I was totally ignorant the many times I read this before, throughout the decades, I had the graphics explaining the words, and the words, and the graphics were illustrating the words, and the words were explaining the graphics. So if you take it that way, when you look at the book, you get a story without any comments, and you can just figure out the comments yourself, or not.
Now, I would also like to add that Crowley was trying to use Liber Trigrammaton in obedience to the Book of the Law, I believe chapter 2, verse 55, where it says, "Thou shalt obtain the order of the English alphabet." So what I'm going to show you, this is the first one, and Constance is going to read it, and then I'm going to ask her to do that without interpretation.
But first I'm going to read the
Okay.
title page, as I always do before I read the
Read the
book.
title page.
Liber Trigrammaton, subfigura 27, being the book of the trigrams of the mutations of the Tao with the yin and the yang. AA publication, class A.
So now what I've got there, this is the image of the very first one, and you'll notice that these aren't lines yet, either broken or unbroken. They're
unusual trigrams. They have three components: the Tao, the yin, and the yang.
right. And so Crowley is associating this when he's trying to play with it as the English alphabet. This would be the letter I. But I'm going to not comment anymore. I'm going to just go through this and let Constance read Liber Trigrammaton for each of these.
In the holy books, the letter is not, the I is not there, because that's his studies.
That's his study.
And the holy books are channeled, and
Right.
they are not to be messed with. So the bottom part's the messing with.
And I might add that Crowley was never satisfied with his English alphabet attributions, which came later.
He strives and strives and strives and strives unto abasement, and counts his muscles an awful lot. But never mind.
But the strong man swathes his swith and
What? Give up,
and,
Lon.
and
Give up,
giggles.
Lon.
Okay, and I've got these in order, and I may fumble with them.
It's only
But
27.
the important thing at the moment is not so much the English letter there;
It's the illustration.
it's the illustration. Okay.
Here is nothing under its three forms. It is not, yet informeth all things.
Next one.
Don't say that. Now cometh the glory of the single one as an imperfection and stain. But by the weak one, the mother, was it equilibrated. Also, the purity was divided by strength, the force of the demiurge. And the cross was formulated in the universe that as yet was not. But now the imperfection became manifest, presiding over the fading of perfection. Also the woman arose and veiled the upper heaven with her body of stars. Now then a giant arose of terrible strength and asserted the spirit in a secret rite.
Private joke.
And the master of the temple, balancing all things, arose. His stature was above the heaven and below earth and hell. Against him, the brothers of the left-hand path, confusing the symbols, they concealed their horror in this symbol, for in truth they were the one in the circle. The master flamed forth as a star and set a guard of water in every abyss. Also, certain secret ones concealed the light of purity in themselves, protecting it from the persecutions. Likewise, also did certain sons and daughters of Hermes and of Aphrodite more openly. But the enemy confused them. They pretended to conceal that light, that they might betray it and profane it. Yet certain holy nuns concealed the secret in songs upon the lyre. Now did the horror of time pervert all things, hiding the purity with a loathsome thing, a thing unnameable. Yea, there arose sensualists upon the firmament, as a foul stain of storm upon the sky. And the black brothers raised their heads, yea, they unveiled themselves without shame or fear. Also there rose up a soul of filth and of weakness, and it corrupted the rule of the Tao. Then only was heaven established to bear sway, for only in the lowest corruption is form manifest. Also did heaven manifest in violent light. And in soft light. Then were the waters gathered together from the heaven. And a crust of earth concealed the core of flame. Around the globe gathered the wide air. And men began to light fires upon the earth. Therefore was the end of its sorrow. Yet, in that sorrow, a sixfold star of glory, whereby they might see to return unto the stainless abode, yea, unto the stainless abode.
And as you can see, it's just the last 8 of these were the trigrams of the I Ching, as we understand, which are fire, water, air, earth, sun, moon, and lingam and yoni. So now we had a plan. What's the next on the agenda of the plan?
To go through there's a book called The Commentaries on the Holy Books, and we were going to go through them. And Lon's going to read the Crowley's commentaries.
That's right.
He forgot the plan. And I have read this many times through like decades, but the commentaries I have not read. And this morning, for an hour about, which I probably wasted my time, but who knows? I sat in my flannel nightgown in bed, writing a couple of my own comments because I don't know, I'm high on my cup of tea, who knows? Anyway, I probably wasted my time. Crowley probably spent a lot of time in his flannel nightgown in bed doing this. Well, on second thought, I don't want to think of him.
No, actually,
I don't want to think of him in a flannel nightgown or in bed, but he probably spent a lot of time doing his, and mine are only an hour, and I didn't really, Anyway, please, this is a disclaimer for my comments. In other words.
Okay, now.
And I don't have comments for every one of them, just a few.
Here's his comments. Okay, they may be helpful to you or
striving onto a basement.
But that one is, he assigned the letter I to. Narrowed breath represents concentration, including aspiration. Should be L. Passive undulation, without effort, unchecked. It says C, S, and K, or vide S and K. So when we get to S and K, we'll see why we're videing it. Forcible addition of pure breath to other sounds represents effort. It's going to be hard to do this. Combines K and S. The sexual onslaught, a less responsible form of D. We'll get to D. When distinct from I, it dignifies the vowel to which it is prefixed. As to B and K is too hard, G, bursting of a bud as against that of a fruit. Open, unmodulated breath, ah. Like soft G. Now, the reason we've got 2 of them there is...
They
read that again, dear.
Against him, the brothers of the left-hand path, confusing the symbols. They concealed their horror in this symbol, that's the top one. For in truth, they were the one in a circle, or whatever you call that.
Yeah. Okay. When distinct from you represents the operation of choice. You does this to some extent. Word, will, way. Let's see here. Okay. The breath, concentrated and directed. is to I as magic is to mysticism. Whoa! Yeah, okay, that's pretty... Excuse me while I have my epiphany. G, hard, opening as if to devote. Then in parentheses, soft.
Okay. I will start my word comments. First of all, my comments are kind of based on, this is an account of the cosmic process, like he says in the synopsis. Or it describes the course of creation under the figure of the interplay of three principles. So I don't see how his comments make any sense with that, what he said in the synopsis anyway. But I'm taking what it says in the synopsis. Okay. So I've got hard. Keep the illustration up. The hard, and the line is, likewise also did certain sons and daughters of Hermes. That's the hard. And of Aphrodite. That's the soft. And Hermes is the top one, and Aphrodite is the bottom one, the soft one with the broken line. How about that?
That's... You get a foreign coin for that, dear.
There's more.
Oh, well...
Be afraid. Be very
All
afraid.
Be very afraid.
Okay.
Okay. This one, Z. An irritated or excited form of S, emphasizing elements of anger and alarm.
Keep it up while I'm discussing it. That would be helpful.
Okay.
Because it illustrates the words, and that's how to do it. Okay. My comments were instantaneous and probably stupid. It says, but the enemy confused them. They pretended to conceal that light, that they might betray it and profane it. I have...
that was Crowley, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's the actual line in
the Trigrammaton. Yeah.
I have confusing perfect love, which is unity. That's the very beginning of the whole thing. Is unity, is the one, confusing perfect love with divided love, which is just undirected sex, pleasure. They profane it.
Okay.
By forgetting where it came from and what its purpose is. How's that? Whatever. Because this is if you're going to go, anyway, go on. I have nothing to say.
Oh, the next one?
Yeah.
This is B. Bursting forth, phallus and vulva, kissing. That's bursting forth, period. Phallus and vulva, period. Kissing, period. Any comments on that?
I don't. No, absolutely not. I don't.
Okay.
Doesn't ring anything.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Well, yes, the comments are fine, but I don't see how the illustration is that.
Okay.
Or what it says.
Compound of P and H. That's what it says. This one says, for S, defiance. And a variant reading is defense, warning, etc.
It's a warning. It's a warning that I have that the sensualist sexual pleasure is a physical pleasure only, as separate from the total unity of life.
Okay. Also on the warning thing, it's like a snake going S.
Oh, well, let's not do that.
Okay, well,
There's more here.
the M, he says, the will to die.
And that's the one that says the Black Brothers. And this is the will to die. And the Black Brothers raise their heads. Yea, they unveil themselves without shame or fear. That's hoarded orgasm, separate from the offering of ecstasy to the source or to God. They hoard it in themselves, and it just,
Right.
backs up like bad plumbing.
Chi constipation.
Yeah, or whatever. Okay. That's what it looks like. The top is trying to drain
Yeah,
down, but it can't.
it can't.
I know.
Yeah. N, the vibration which includes life and death as complementary curves. E, softened but otherwise unmodulated breath, phallus.
Okay. I have. You can
You,
keep it up.
do you have a comment about phallus?
A few. Well, okay. Yes. This is what I was talking about. Striving is the opposite of this. This one is striving. It's the opposite of the last trigram, which is yielding, which is all open lines.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
the
is
very.
So
very,
this is striving,
Okay.
which is male or whatever. But it's
Right.
striving is the opposite of the last of yielding. And then I have, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Then I have 3 verses from Liber 65, chapter 1, verse 43, 44, 45, and 46 to read, as in comments to what that's just what I just said there. And they're short, extremely short.
Hit it.
Nay, but not therewith was he content. By an infinite abasement unto shame did he strive. Then a voice, thou strivest ever. Even in thy yielding thou strivest to yield, and lo, thou yieldest not. Go thou unto the outermost places, and subdue all things. Subdue thy fear and thy disgust. Then yield. So there.
Wow. And the very last of these trigrams at the very end is just the opposite. It's
Right.
3 broken lines. We'll get to that in just a moment.
I've completely.
The R, he says, continuous vibration like L, but active, air, or the aether. Conscious male will, manhood, strength, truth, righteousness, immortality, integrity. But Crowley calls it water, or he says water here. But
Not only that, which is pretty much the opposite of that, if you ask me. Not only that, but it says, and in soft light. So he's got the male being the water and in soft light.
yeah, so there's another thing.
Logical.
Yeah. Okay, V. Oh, that was V. Okay. K. Opening.
Wait, you missed one. Did you?
Did I get Q?
I don't know. What was the soft light one? Lost, straight line, broken line, straight line.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay, here it is.
That's. What?
That was Q, combines K and U, the sun.
Oh, you did forget that one.
Yeah. And then K, opening as if startled, the earth.
I don't know where we are then. I'm kind of lost.
We are at, coming from the
I
bottom.
know where we are, but I just don't. I think we missed something, but that's okay. Go ahead. I'll stay here. It means nothing. Let's go. I'm sorry to bother you.
K, opening as if startled, earth, and that's the mountain. Okay, D, paternal vibration. Then in parentheses, the moon. Anything on that one, dear?
Well, it sounds like he's uniting his opposites with every comment.
Yeah. U. Like O, with added refinement and a tinge of melancholy. O is completely self-confident. And he says fire, which is...
And then men began to light fires upon the earth.
Yeah. And finally, and I bet you have something to say
Oh,
about vulva.
is that all he says about that one?
Yeah.
I have look, the quote, the actual quotation is, the actual stanza is, therefore was the end of its sorrow. And I have, sorrow, is that all there is? No, you take that sorrow at the end here, and you return with the experience, and you have it's an endless circle of yielding. So it goes around, so the whole of everything, because it says that therefore was the end of its sorrow. Yet in that sorrow, the return they talk about. Yet in the end of that sorrow, a sixfold star of glory, whereby they might see to return unto the stainless abode, yea, into the stainless abode. Well, it's obviously, I have small willingness. Is that what you're? If you want to get your guardian angel, if you want enlightenment, or if you want to be united with your source, the thing mostly you have to do is just be willing to do that. And all that means is you get rid of all the other crap, which means that you're not willing, even the striving.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have yield. And then I have some quotations from Liber 65, chapter 2, verse 62. To await thee is the end, not the beginning. And then another one. And this is also just a not quite a quote, but from Liber 65, verses chapter 4, verses 54, 55, 56 is about, I think it's a symbol of the serpent that swallows its own tail. It devours the infinite and shall undo the wrong of the beginning. And that's how you get back again. So we have to all just spend our time figuring out how to swallow our own tail and devour the infinite.
Wise words. But actually, wise words. Thank you, dear. Are there any other comments? You've got some other commentaries?
Oh gosh, no.
And we've gone about a half an hour. Needless to say, Liber Trigrammaton.
Everything in the Holy Books is worth reading and studying, but make your own comments first, and then go to that's my advice, and then go to Crowley and find out what his comments are.
Because Crowley is the first to admit that he's still working on this stuff.
The comments are not class A, and he is striving unto abasement constantly, as far as I'm concerned, but you know.
Well, thank you, dear. Any other words before we close today? Okay. The garage hasn't called. I don't know what I'm going to do today. But we'll
flow with it.
We'll flow with it. We'll not strive
we
to
can't sail on
yield.
the river of Amrit without the Volkswagen bus, though.
Right. So pray for us.
Pray for the car.
Pray for that 1984 Volkswagen Vanagon. That I'll be able to
pay for it,
to
too.
afford to pay for it,
Whatever they
to
do
get
to
it
it.
out of Sheol. Until tomorrow, hopefully, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law, love under will.
Bye-bye.